All right, so on behalf of our business school, I want to welcome all of you to Finance 302, Personal Finance. This course is a general introductory finance class meant for those of you who know little about finance and those of you who are curious about what a finance is and how it relates to our daily financial decisions. Hopefully, over the next 16 weeks, we are going to satisfy that curiosity. Okay. So in this video, I want to talk a little bit about what a personal finance is and why we want to learn personal finance, subject motivation, and I'll go over a couple course mechanics. Okay. So before we begin, I want to just talk a little bit about myself. My name is pronounced as Siqi Wei. You can just call me Professor Wei or Dr. Wei. Here you can find my email contact, and my office is located on the fourth floor of the business building, 4106. And my official office hour is 3:30 to 5:30 Tuesdays. And you can certainly send me an email. We can easily set up a sort of a Zoom office hour. Okay, so I love finance because it's a very broad and integrated discipline. It draws knowledge from different areas such as economics, accounting, business. We need a lot of technical tools as well. So I just feel like in this broad area, I mean, it has a variety of challenge over there, and I really enjoy it. And also, I love trading stocks and options. If that's something you are interested in, you are more than welcome to talk to me. Okay. So, well, to motivate a subject, I have to talk about the definition of finance and personal finance. So, the very first natural question should be, what is finance? Okay, think about it. Well, finance is actually a discipline that processes information for the purpose of making informed decisions on the management of money and investment. So we finance people apply theory and develop models to answer basic questions of our daily lives. Okay, so essentially, finance is dealing with three things. First, value. Second, time. Third, uncertainty, which is risk. Okay. So what is personal finance? Well, personal finance is a sub-branch of finance. Okay, so in finance, we ask questions like, what is the return of a particular investment? How does a company finance a long-term asset? And what's going to be the impact of a recent, interest hike in a post-pandemic environment, especially, after the, heightened geopolitical uncertainty over the year of 2022. Okay, and how to interpret the volatility of a financial instrument such as stocks and options. Okay, so these are typical questions answered by the discipline of finance, where personal finance is a sub-branch of finance. Okay, so we still need to understand those type of questions, but we want to address questions that are more related to our personal financial decisions, okay, such as something related to our savings, to our purchasing decisions, to our investment decisions, to our retirement planning decisions, so on and so forth. Okay, it's more personal. Definitely, every one of us at some point in our lives have to make certain type of personal financial decisions. Okay, so why do we need to learn finance? Well, as I mentioned, we have to make finance decisions because at the end of the day, financial decisions is human decisions bounded by two dimensions, and that is time and the risk. Okay, so no matter what kind of decisions or business decisions you are engaging, you cannot escape from these kind of two dimensions. Okay, so it's very fundamental, it's very personal. That's why we really need to get this kind of exposure to personal financial decision-making process so that we can be a financially responsible individual. Okay, so definitely personal finance is the application of finance. We want to draw traditional or classical financial knowledge to answer personal finance questions. I would say it's more like a common sense because sometimes we take some sort of a knowledge for granted because it's too personal. But we have to understand a little bit more about the details and the mechanism behind those common sense. Okay, in this course. Okay, and it's definitely a decision process. It's a process of managing your money to achieve personal economic satisfaction. Notice my word. It's a personal satisfaction. It's subjective because each one of us have different level of a risk tolerance. Each one of us have different level of utility and the satisfaction, right? For example, at the end of a semester, I believe different students have different take of this personal finance class, right? It depends upon your career goal. It depends upon your initial objective in terms of why you want to take this class. I mean, it's really a subjective thing, right? So each one of us have our own unique measurements in terms of how we gauge the economic satisfaction for a specific set of financial decisions. Okay, so it's a highly subjective thing. All right. So speaking of the course objective and focus, personal finance address many related decisions for individuals and families. Okay, so basically in this course, we are seeking to answer questions like, where does all my money go? How much money do I really need to spend? How much should we save for future growth? And how can I buy and pay for a vehicle and some sort of a long-term asset, for example, real estate properties? And what are the fundamental financial instruments like equity securities, stocks, fixed income securities, bonds, or mutual funds, things like that. Okay, we will talk about we will cover the basic mechanics at the intuition level. Okay, so I believe some of you may have heard that students sometimes complain, oh, finance is so hard because there are tons of mathematics, computation components over there. Okay, well, that's true, by the way, but in this course, we require minimum calculations. Okay, so we really don't have that much of mathematics involved in this course. Everything we covered are at the conceptual level, so you don't need to worry about these kind of things. If you are going to take my corporate financial modeling class or investment class, definitely you need certain exposure to a little bit statistics. Okay, so don't worry too much about the computing if that's not your comfort zone. All right. So what are we going to learn? Well, I would sort this thing into 4 building blocks. Okay, so in the first building block, we will start talking about the notion of opportunity cost, which is the starting point of the economics and the finance. Okay, so in these disciplines, we talk about opportunity cost, which is sort of a notion that if you want to achieve something, you have to give up something in return, right? So we have to think on the marginal basis from the financial perspective. Okay, so for example, you spend a couple hours working on my lectures, so that you sacrifice the opportunity to go out, let's say, go to the Malibu beach, enjoy the sunshine. Okay, so you're essentially sacrificing your leisure time in exchange for your learning experience, right? Because you hold the belief that on a marginal basis, your effort put into this class could be value enhancing for your long-term career, right? So, but by doing so, you have to incur certain sort of a certain degree of opportunity cost. Okay, then we will move on to time value of the money, which is the the starting point of the quant analytical framework. So basically, there is an inherent monetary value attached to time. Okay, so believe me, virtually all the financial pricing has to do with discounted cash flow, which is centered around the time value of the money. That's really the starting point in terms of the value or price discovery mechanism. Okay, personal financial basics. We'll talk a little bit about the cash budgeting and cash management. We'll also talk about the taxation management. These are the very basics. Also, we have to talk about the personal financial planning process. It's really a time-varying dynamic. Okay, we'll also cover the financial services, financial intermediaries, like financial institutions for served for your saving investment purposes. Okay, in the second building blocks, we will cover topics like borrowing decisions, lending decisions, such as credit and consumer loans, and then we will move on to long-term purchasing decisions, such as automobiles, vehicles, houses, real estate properties, because this usually take a big chunk of your money, even with leverage. Okay, so you don't want to be financially irresponsible in terms of this kind of a long-term investment. Okay, for example, over the past 2 years, there's really a huge roller coaster in the real estate market, right? Because of the disruption of the COVID-19 pandemic. I think before 2022, the housing prices were upward sloping monotonically. Okay, it's really driven by the people's demand. I mean, irrational demand on the housing properties. Okay, but because of the disruption of the Russian-Ukraine war and the post-pandemic inflation, everything, I mean, drove down the housing price by a significant degree. Okay, so if you enter the market at the wrong time, it takes a very long time to get your money back to your pocket, because it's really sometimes it's more than 40% drop in the housing property. I know for sure over the long term it's gonna be upward sloping, but I'm saying that you could do better if you can if you have a better understanding of the overall market economy. Okay. Anyhow, after that, we will talk about how to insure your personal financial asset, because at the end of the day, we have to deal with the risk associated with your financial assets. So insurance is sort of a indispensable part of your financial decisions. Okay. Now, in the third building block, which is my favorite, we are going to cover something that's going to do with your asset growth. So we want to work on some sort of a financial investment by employing a series of financial instruments, including stocks, bond, funds, and other type of investments. Okay, so essentially, within the third building block, we have to deal with the time and the risk along with their interactions. Okay, in the last building block, I would like to invite you guys to jump out of the box to think about the behavioral aspects of the personal financial planning. So ironically, this topic is not covered by your textbook or traditional personal financial planning textbook, but I do think it's very important to incorporate this topic into this class because in the real world, like I mentioned, financial decisions at the end of the day are human decisions. But as human beings, we are imperfect, we are irrational. So many times our decisions could be driven by our human bias, such as overconfidence, confirmation bias, self-attribution, mental accounting. There are tons of biases out there which can easily, navigate our financial decision to a completely wrong direction. Okay, so definitely we need to cover this topic to ensure we have an objective thinking when it comes to personal decisions. Okay, so that's the overview of what we are going to talk about in this class. Okay, so speaking of the course mechanics, this class is going to be a fully online course with an asynchronous mode. That means we don't have any live lectures. But don't worry about that. I will ensure your learning outcome by employing a variety of learning resources. Every week, I will send you a sort of a weekly update to let you know what you are going to do, what are the lecture materials I posted, what are the readings you need to focus on, the weekly assignment as well. Okay, so if you have any questions, do not hesitate to ask me. And also you can just email me to set up an office hour appointment. We can have a conversation in terms of how I can help you for your learning experience. For the required course material, we are going to use this personal finance textbook. You don't need to get a hard copy. We are going to use the ebook version with a discounted price. Believe me, that's the best deal I can offer. I think all the 302 sections use the same ebook. Again, it's required. You don't need to get a hard copy, but we are going to use the online version. Okay, so it's going to be automatically deducted by from your Bursa account. We don't require financial calculator in this class because I think, well, you can easily use Excel as a substitute, and there are tons of online financial calculator template for you to work on, and it's going to be free. Okay, but if you want to use financial calculator or you already have one, you are more than welcome to use it. Okay. Yeah, for each chapter, we have a problem set, or we can call it a quiz. So it's going to be due every Sunday, 11:59 p.m. Pacific time. Okay, so I think these are great opportunity for you to integrate what you read and learn from this particular learning module. So I would say it's going to be very helpful for you to sort out your acquired knowledge. Okay, so it's a good practical practice opportunity. So it's going to be a huge portion of your grades. So seriously treat these problem sets. Okay, we faculty group carefully designed this problem set to assess your learning outcomes. Okay, again, it's going to be on a weekly basis, and it's due every Sunday, 11:59. Every week, I will send you a couple readings. Some are from Wall Street Journal, some are from other, mainstream financial media such as Barron's, Bloomberg. I don't know. The intention of doing so is to expose you guys to the current economy, because right now I think we are in a very unusual time in the post-pandemic world with a complex interest rate environment, labor participation, and the overall market economy. It makes our personal financial decisions even more challenging. Okay, So I really wish I had the opportunity to talk to my previous 302 students, who were very positive and optimistic in the financial market before the, geopolitical war happened last year. I mean, everyone was very positive on the capital market, but right now you can see most of the high-tech companies tumbled by 60% or 50% over a year. I mean, it's a disaster, right? So we need to think carefully about, how to make informed decisions in the current economy. That's why I think it's going to be an indispensable part for you to read some current articles to expose yourself to the current affairs. All right, and it's going to be very helpful for your course essay as well. Okay, so at the end of the semester, I'll ask you to turn in a paper, I would say a course essay to, you can focus on any topics I listed. I'll give you more details later on. So basically, you want to use the knowledge you learn from this class, try to address certain personal financial questions, and you want to be very specific in terms of the questions you are going to resolve. You don't need to worry about the detail at this moment. I will send a follow-up instruction after, I think, in the second half of the semester. Okay, so speaking of the grading scale, I think it's very straightforward. It's on the syllabus. Yeah, so that's pretty much I have for this video. Please carefully go through your syllabus. Okay, and let me know if you have any questions. Okay. All right. Again, thank you very much for choosing me. Thank you very much for enrolling into my personal finance class. I hope you guys have a wonderful semester.